So we could address the fact that I haven't filmed, edited, or posted in about a month. But we could also just not and move on to the wrap-up. And since I am in control of this video, that's just what we're going to do. I shall start with the books that I don't have a physical copy of at the moment. So first of all, I read Words in Deep Blue by Kath Crowley, I believe that's her name. And that is the Teen Book of the Month pick for the store that I work in. And so my coworker that chose it really loved it and wanted me to read it, so I wanted to prioritize that. So basically that is a story set in a secondhand bookstore in Australia, which is already very intriguing and has the word blue in the title, and the cover is gorgeous. So naturally I was attracted to it in no time, and it follows these two 19-ish-year-olds. Again, I was so touched because characters closer to my age, which is great. And it's them kind of reconnecting once the girl moves back home after her brother died and yada yada yada. That's not a spoiler, that's basically the plot. So it's it's so well written. I have so many quotes written down for my review notes and just, because I really love them. And it's super deep, it's fun at the same time. I thought the portrayal of, life and working in a bookstore is just phenomenal. It's very touching. It's just a really fun read, and I can see it being one of my favorites of the year. So that was 5 out of 5 stars. Then another super highly anticipated book that I got to read early, thankfully, was Leo and the Offbeat by Becky Albertalli. So that is the companion novel to Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda, obviously also by Becky Albertalli. You might know it, if not because of BookTube, then because of the film adaptation that came out this year. Love Simon, yes, that's it. I saw it 3 times, so I really do love the Simon-verse. And to be quite honest, Leah on the Offbeat, this is a unpopular opinion, but it's my favorite Becky Albertalli. Partly because I thought it was the most relatable for me. I loved the portrayal of, a fat, bitter protagonist, which it was everything I wanted from the upside of Unrequited, which is, it touched me, it touched my heart, and I'm so happy to see it be the #1 on the New York Times bestsellers list, because, you have this bisexual Jewish fat Slytherin. Oh, I love her so much. And yes, I just love Leah. I don't want to give any more details because it's potential spoilers for Simon versus, I don't know. But yes, I really loved it. And I do have a written review of this on my blog because it's part of the blog tour. Dear Martin finally came out in the UK and Ireland. That's by Nick Stone. It's so good. It's another Black Lives Matter movement. Nick Stone is besties with Angie Thomas, which is the cutest thing and she's amazing. Anyway, so it follows this kid Justice. Symbolism, am I right? I already love it. And he is experiencing this police brutality moment, and he's more aware of racism and microaggressions and all of that in the society all around him. And as Star in The Hate U Give, he goes to this posh, mostly white school. People are bigots, you can imagine, and he decides to implement the thoughts and whatever of Martin Luther King in his daily life to cope with everything going on around him. And he also writes these letters to Martin and sort of an update and also a little bit of a journal vibe. I don't know, I just really love this book. I'll link my review down below, but I do gotta say, prioritize own voices reviews, but it's an own voices novel, It's not like she could go wrong, but it's so good. It's phenomenal. It's so great. I really am looking forward to anything that Nick Stone ever publishes in the future because I love this so much. This is gonna be a very sad downgrade. I read The Surface Breaks by Louisa Neal. Those are my thoughts on it. It's meant to be a Little Mermaid reimagining. She has no idea what The Little Mermaid was about, does she? I saw her in an interview say that her connection to The Little Mermaid is that she loves the sea, and she was 4 when it came out, and I'm like, how were you alive back then? But then I realized she meant the Disney version, and then I saw a lot of reviews comparing it to Disney version, even though for fuck's sake Hans Christian Andersen was so great. The original is so good, so deep, the meaning behind the story, so good. It all went away. And don't get at me, because people have already started doing that on Goodreads, because why wouldn't they? It's so bad. It's just so bad. I loved all of Louise's other books. I think I rated them all 5 out of 5 stars. I thought they were very thought-provoking. I thought they were great. This is just mediocre at best, you know? That scene in The Perks of Being a Wallflower where Patrick is, I am below average. So is this book. Way below. It's so bad. I wanted to keep track of all the sexism in it. I was gonna run out of post-its in like 5 pages. It was so bad. And my issue is that our Little Mermaid is a bigot herself. It takes her like 218 pages to not be terrible. The world building is like inexistent. I think in the final copy they got rid of a part where they're talking about someone wrapping seaweed around the mermaid's ankles. Yes, but it's just like Mean Girls under the sea, except Louise seems to forget that they're under the sea because they're like, flip their hair, and I'm like, it wouldn't work like that under the sea, that wouldn't. And it's just, there's no consistency. I don't like it. It's so sexist. It's very fat shaming. There's this one moment where she first sees the sea witch, and she's like, I was never aware that such a body was allowed to exist. Had I been a young teenager when I read this, it would have ruined me. It would have sparked those eating disordery thoughts. It would have been so triggering. I am not gonna recommend that to a teen. It's just, it makes no sense. I don't like it. The love interest was terrible. All the mermaids are white and blue-eyed. I'm like, fuck this. Anyway, I have a lot of feelings. I could go on forever and ever and ever and ever, but I'm already getting tired. And you know what? That's it. That's all I'm saying. Another book that I was sent for review by the publisher for the purpose of the blog tour, but that didn't happen because postal services. Anyway, long story. The Maid's Room by Fiona Mitchell. I liked this one. It wasn't blowing me away, but it was good. So this follows these maids in the Philippines living in human conditions, and it's sort of their stories, experiencing and navigating through that. And it's very touching. It's a lot like The Help, except it's less white saviory in the sense that you just see these women taking their lives in their hands, and it's a lot more agency to the story as opposed to, you know, the white savior here to save them all. So one of the ladies actually starts a blog, which is kind of a response to this blog about a pretentious white lady who thinks that all the maids are dumb and useless and less than human. And it's so good. I read it in like 2 sittings, and I was working, so that was, you know, yeah. I have a review down below if you want to check it out. Can't say too much about this one either because spoilers for the other 2, but I read Always and Forever Lara Jean by Jenny Han. This is the last installment in the To All the Boys I've Loved Before series. I really loved the first 2 books. This is a lovely conclusion to the series. Love it. My friend Rachel has been at me to read this one for the longest time, and I finally have. And this is full disclosure that she was read all along and I loved it. And it is Warcraft by Marie Lu. I love it. It's kind of this video gamey setting, and you have a hacker who hacks herself into the game, and she has rainbow hair. I know every single white girl reviewer has said that she has rainbow hair, but she's got fucking rainbow hair, and I am living for it. Anyway, I love the protagonist. I love, adore the world building. I love the concept. I think this is so good. There are so many twists and turns, and it was amazing. Amazing. Some of them are predictable, obviously, because like, what you gonna do? But overall, it's just such a fast-paced, fun, lush read, and I'm so excited for the sequel. And Rachel, you were right. Is she gonna make that a GIF? Is she gonna make that her ringtone? You never know. And finally, we're down to the library books. I read Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Shannon McGuire. This is the second installment in the Wayward children's series. So the first one is Every Heart a Doorway, which you might have seen every single reviewer ever to talk about. I love that one. I love this one even more. It follows Jack and Jill from the first book, and when they're children, they stumble upon this door that takes them to these it's a magical, super dark, super vicious world, and it's so good. There's so much talk about gender performance and parental expectations and following your own path and sisterhood and identity, and it's such a good read, and it's so fun. And again, the writing style is great. It's so good. It's so thought-provoking. It's so beautiful. It's so lush. Love it. The characters are super well shaped. I love the story. I love Shannon McGuire and everything she does, and I'm super excited for the third installment in this. I would not be myself were I not to talk about some comics. So I finally read Alias Volume 1. That's Jessica Jones. I loved it. The artwork wasn't my favorite, but for once I thought the story was super easy to follow. I love Jessica Jones. I appreciate, I think, the liberal use of swear words. I don't know, it's from fun story. It's a good time. You have a scene of her and Captain Marvel just grabbing brunch, and it's adorable. And then I read Runways, the complete collection, volume 2. I love the story, I love the show, I love the series. The artwork is beautiful. I think they had some different illustrators for different volumes in this, because it does kind of fluctuate at one point, but still, it's so beautiful. The story is just so fun. It follows these kids who find out in the first installment that their parents are supervillains. Again, not spoilers, just plot. It's so fun. They run away. It's great. It's amazing. It's so fun. And finally, gonna try not to injure myself with the book again, I read The 100 Nights of Hero by Isabel Greenberg. This is the lesbian retelling of 1001 Nights, or what is it you people call it, Arabian Nights? Yeah, that. Anyway, so good, so feminist, so funny. The artwork is beautiful. The story is so engaging. I read it in one sitting. It's perfect. So that was it. Please do let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them if you did, and let me know what your favorite book of the month was. And I will hopefully see you sometime later.